you have to open like an awareness to what there is around you, because like that's the only way we're able to work together.
Mm.
That's our biggest problem, I think, that we have, is our division. Sometimes like we just want to hear what's easier. We don't want to confront the big stuff because it just makes us think too much. It's not pleasant.
If that was easy, we wouldn't have to have this conversation.
True.
However one is showing up, like it has like so much medicine for so many people in the same boat, you know, and everyone's rising together. Like,
Yeah, I just want to be like as honest as I can so that other people can see that
Mhm.
honesty and relate to it.
How have you been, man? We haven't talked in a while.
I've been chilling, dude. Going to school and doing deliveries. I switched from mathematics to humanities. I've been thinking about doing stuff with like anthropology, like studying like different communities around the world. I've actually been interested in like the humanities because like with math, it was like I was good with it. But then I took these like classes because I had to for my general ed. And I
Mhm.
was actually like into it and like interested, and it was like easy for me. So I was like, all right, maybe I should just look into this instead.
Nice. Yeah, totally. That's awesome. I have a lot of interest in that kind of stuff too. So as you like go along in your journey, you should like share stuff, and we'll probably like travel and stuff and talk about things and like
Hell yeah, bro.
go do the research in person.
And see like all the similarities that all the different cultures have.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. That's what keeps us connected. That's what brings us together. Like when we see how people pretty much like want the same things, or like different cultures expressing the same things but differently.
Yeah.
It's cool to see like the only division is our political borders, not the actual humanity.
Yeah, like that pie thing you were saying, like we were talking about in our religions class, like we all like have like a same mountain towards like enlightenment. At the top there's enlightenment, but we all just take different paths, whatever like religion or whatever that is, like around the mountain, but it's all the same thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. A couple of things that you said about what you want to share really stood out to me, and I wanted to kind of repeat them and then have you talk about what it means to you and how you want to share that.
All right, for sure.
Cool. So the first thing that I want to say that you brought up is that you want to be a voice for people making the transition. You want to talk about the progress of seeking to be spiritual, and that might involve, you know, the sacrifice of old habits or other things. Do you want to talk about what it means for you to want to be a voice for those making the transition? What is that transition? And what do you mean by the progress of seeking to be spiritual?
All right, so first thing, the voice thing, I think is something I've seen like in a lot of my friends, is that we seek like, we don't say we're religious, we say we're spiritual.
Mm.
And like, I don't know, it's kind of like making an excuse. But I think there also is a part in a lot of people that they do seek betterment in themselves, but we all like fall trap like victim to like different things, like whether it's like smoking weed or just being lazy. But like I think everyone has like these same goals towards like being a better person. I don't know what it is, dude, because like I think everyone knows like on the other side there's this like better life. It's like really hard to let go of everything else that comes with like your old life to like accept a new one. And it's also like fear of change and like fear of the unknown. But that's like the first part of that question. There's like two parts or so. I don't
No,
know.
I mean, you pretty much answered it. I think we get the idea, like what you're talking about, what voice you want to be and what it means. The progress of seeking to be spiritual, like becoming a better person, you know, that there's something on the other side of the bad habits or the things that are like holding you back or not really taking you to the next level.
Yeah, and basically like positivity too, underlining like everything, like always having a positive outlook. Really hard for
Totally.
people too. And it's hard for like people that always have the positive outlook to see people that don't. And they're like,
Mhm.
oh, this person's like, oh, he's like behind, he's falling back. But it's like important to see like those people still like it's an everyday struggle for them. Whereas other people that do have it, well, I don't know, people that do have it too, it's also an everyday struggle. But
Yeah, totally. I mean, positivity, like having a positive attitude is really, it's a big subject. What would you say is like the most important part of that? Or what would you say is like the relevant part of that when you're in the position that you are, like so many other people are?
what's the importance of being positive?
Yeah, like where would you highlight, you know, the importance of being positive, like in the space that you're in, making that
Uh,
transition?
it just helps you move forward, bro. Like I don't know, a lot of times we always like to put ourselves in these bad mindsets that, oh, I'm not good enough or I
Mm.
can't do it.
Mm.
But I don't know, that's just destructive like thinking, and it's like you gotta distance yourself from like that shit as much as you can. And like the
Yeah.
only way I can think of doing that is just like fake it till you make it, bro. Like even though I'm not happy every day, I'm going to tell myself this is going to be my day. Like, this is like a chance to do whatever I think of doing. And even though I usually don't try new things, but like I still have that mindset anyway, just because like I'm always open to something new. Because if anything ever comes to me, I'll just like take that opportunity. Hopefully, I don't know if I will when the moment comes, but that's what I want.
Sure. Yeah, totally. But I mean, that's the right place to have your mind. Like, you know, like we're always in motion. Like we're emotional beings. We're energy in motion. We're always in motion. So like whatever you're thinking about is where you're going. So like what it sounds like you're describing is a really healthy place to be going to, because it actually ends up taking you to the place where you want to be in life, instead of, you know, even if your actions don't quite change yet, like your mind is on the next level of life,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, it's like giving yourself permission to like be on the road or walk on the road or look at the road that takes you to the next place. I mean, that's what it sounds like for me. And I think
Yeah,
that's
I
really
know.
cool.
Yeah, and it's also this like really weird like place to be in too, bro. Like transitioning from being someone that doesn't care about anything, and
Mm,
then like slowly start. Because like growing up, bro, I really tried hard not to care about anything to the point like I wouldn't care.
mm,
And then it became this part of like, okay, now how do I care? And it's
mm.
hard to get that back, bro. It really is. Because
Wow.
like you start to see like, oh, everything is meaningless. Like I don't give a shit. Like I could go and get this job and live this life, but at the end of the day, like, will I even still be happy? That kind of mindset kind of sucks too, because it's like, well, instead of thinking that, just go out and do it and like, see for yourself. I grew up seeing that close hand. Like these
Mm.
people have a lot of power and a lot of money, but it also brings like a lot of like instability and I don't know, other problems. Because my cousins have like their own problems, bro, and me and my brother do too. And like it's just funny to see like we weren't that rich, but like they were, but we all still have our own fucked up problems.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, man. It's like sometimes outside circumstances don't really change that much. Like most of it is, what is the internal world doing and how are you operating? How are you reflecting on yourself and your life? And whether or not your daily activities involves dealing with projects that make you a lot of money or make others a lot of money or involve political power, how are you operating? You know what I mean? Like you could have a really high end job where you have a lot of influence politically or, you know, financially or whatever. And you could wake up grumpy with a bad perspective on everything and just be playing that role, but from this space that isn't really helping anyone.
Yeah,
And you could
definitely.
be like driving food around, you know, or like working in a grocery store and like actually impact people's lives in a way that helps everyone. And it's like, I mean, that's more
Yeah, it's like
valuable.
yeah, I don't really do much like delivering food or delivering flowers, bro. But like when I do it, like I'm trying to be the best person I can and actually like spread happiness to the person I'm working with too. Like it's not like something I even have to think about. It's just something I do. Whereas other
Yeah.
people, it's like something they have to remind themselves to do, you know? It's funny, but
And did you used to do that? You know, you said you're transitioning from not caring about anything to like caring about things and like being like, you know, more conscientious about life. Like, is that different now than it was before?
definitely, bro.
Mm,
Everything is so different. Like
mm.
I don't know, sometimes I overthink stuff too and get like I think I'm kind of crazy, bro.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So like, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know. It's well, what are we talking about? Like overthinking, caring too much?
Yeah. Yeah. What does that mean for you? Like,
Well, I don't know if I even do really care too much about anything still, dude. But I'm trying to, like things with school and like working a job that's not really like
mm,
it's not really like what I want to be doing, but and what I think I could be doing, but it's just what I do.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like I'm still in like this purgatory phase, bro, where like I don't know, hopefully like once I get out of community college, I can actually take direction with like what I want to do with my life and like the humanities and everything. It's
So
like
when are
I
you
think
done? Oh, go ahead.
one more semester this summer and then next fall.
Cool. And you said that you feel like a divided person who tries two separate paths out of fear of complete devotion to one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I really relate to that, and I've gone through that a lot. And I think a lot of people relate to that because there are so many options and choices now presented to us. Like every day, we have so many options and choices, like what to look at, what to eat, what to do. Like at any moment we could change the trajectory of our life like instantly, you know? So what does it mean for you that you feel like a divided person who tries two separate paths out of fear of complete devotion to one?
That's hard, dude. Because it's like I've always not wanted to give my everything in something.
Mm.
And I don't know if people say it's like the fear of failure, but I don't even know if it's that. It's more of like the fear of, I don't know. It's not the fear of failure though. It's the fear of just like putting all your eggs in one basket and just like
Mm.
it not being have any meaning, and then it's just like, oh.
Mm. I really relate to that, man. Yeah. It's
Because
like, how
I
do you know that that
everyone
path
always
is the
used to say
one?
it's like, oh, you're scared of failing. And it's like, I'm not scared of failing. Like, I'm okay with failing. Like, honestly, that'd be cool because then it would show me that's not the path for me. But
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, what stops you from trying a path? Even like, you have this preface, like it might not be the one. So why don't you want to engage in one, in a specific path?
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like the thing that you said with like every day, there's always new options and new things. Like one day I'll be thinking, oh, I want to do this. I want to help the world. I want to like be a farmer. I want to do this. And the next day it's like a completely different idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas like, I don't know, right now I'm just trying to do this with my goal of like, all right, have the humanities, have something kind of work, and like talk to a professor about what kind of work I can do, like just beforehand, just to like, because I travel a lot too, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
like I could be doing so much more with my traveling than just like having a good time. So that's like kind of what I want to learn is like, how can I really like get out there and
Mm-hmm.
engage in conversation with people? Because I'm kind of like an antisocial fuck, so it's not easy, dude. But I'm always in these situations where I'm around people that I think people have a lot to learn from, like whether that's alcoholics or skaters, like people that are like looked down upon a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
but like they have like similar like problems that everyone else has, dude. And so you have to open like an awareness to what there is around you because like that's the only way we're able to work together.
Mm-hmm.
That's our biggest problem I think that we have is our division. Like you're either Democratic or Republican. Like you're either for abortions or you're not. And it's like rather than focusing on the differences, I think the important thing is the similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Because really we're all here together. Like I don't know.
Yeah, we literally are.
It is funny, dude. The one thing we all share, bro, is we all die. We all live, and but that like the life we live is like all up to us. Like whatever our perception of life is like, but we do die.
Mm.
Like we could live whatever kind of lives we live, but I don't know. That's how I saw a video on that the other day that we have a connection through death.
Yeah, we definitely do. We have a connection through death. We have a connection through our bodies because they're all the same, besides like some color and like facial differences, like through races. But like other than that, you can diagnose one person in one country the same as across the world. Like if they have kidney failure, like you have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like we're all the exact same creature and being, for sure. Do you think that we're connected in ways that we don't visually see with our eyes?
Yeah, definitely, dude. I believe in like the unconscious, whatever, like Carl Jung, the
Mm,
work of Carl Jung, he says like we all have an unconscious collective.
mm,
Because, bro, I remember one time, dude, I tripped on acid and it was like my craziest trip. And it lived like, it didn't feel like a few hours, bro. I lived like different lives. And like I had dreams where I went through like a complete life of like some random dude, like some gangbanger. And like I died as him and I experienced death. And like it was so weird for me. And like it just, like from that moment on, dude, I was just like so like open-minded to how like we really are the same. And the only difference is like where we're born, our situation. But like I think honestly, dude, there is like a deep rooted like connection we all have, and we're always everything we do every day is just like separating us, and everything around us just makes us like more and more like different from each other. Which I don't know if it's a bad thing, dude. If we're all the same, that would be really boring, like people in Sweden or something.
are
But
they all
I
the
guess
same?
yeah, they all share like the same like ideals and like it is a really good like economy and everything, but still at the same time, like I don't know, I feel like they're missing out on stuff too. Because
Mm,
diversity is what makes life so great too.
for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we both of us have spent time in countries where you're around like a diverse set of people. And I think like for me, that's been when I felt the most free to express whatever personality I want and not have to like exhibit the norms of a certain culture, you know, or like the expectation of like how you act or what you think about or like how you say things. Like, you know, I found the most freedom not being around like only Americans, for example,
Yeah.
around people from all different countries where like they don't expect anything of you. Like I don't know what to expect of someone from Germany because I haven't spent that much time there. And it's like I don't have any expectation. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea. So when everyone in a room is from a different place, it's like there's more ease, you know, but I think that's because we don't have like the mental expectation on how everyone should be. We're just being humans without the lines, without the political borders, the cultural borders,
But
what
you
you're
don't think
saying.
people don't think about you being an American when they meet you though? Because I've noticed that sometimes people will say shit and they'll be like, but no, at first they'll be like, excuse me first, but is it okay? Like, do you not like Trump? Can I say this? And then they'll go off and say how they hate Americans and how they think we're all like big fat like truck drivers. I'm like, no, we're not all like that, man.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, so there's that too. There's both. There's accepting people and there are people that are judgmental the
Yeah.
same way. Yeah, dude. Well, I'm really glad that you got to speak like deeper on what you wrote to me beforehand. I thought it was really powerful. However, one is showing up, like it has like so much medicine for so many people in the same boat, you know, and everyone's rising together. Like,
Yeah, I just want to be like as honest as I can so that other people can see that
Mhm.
honesty and relate to it. I don't know. I think there is enough resources for everyone though, definitely. And I
Uh-huh.
think nations is like what divides us, but I don't know. They also are kind of good in a way.
For sure.
Like
It's
one
like
nation has this and this nation has this, and together like we would make this trade, and that's how like we have a good mutualistic like relationship.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that's a good point. Like groups of people are interacting in a healthy way. Nations do interact in a way that benefits everyone. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
also
but
kind
yeah,
of
I guess the
structured.
unity would be like there would have to be like an emperor that would just like bring everyone together. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's one way to do it. I propose that there's another way, and that way is through the emperor being the internal. Like if everyone started looking at themselves and going inside and instead of putting like someone who's ruling the country on a pedestal, if they put their own insides on a pedestal, like their intention on a pedestal, like what you're talking about, where like you're like, you know, there's something better on the other side and you want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like that, if that's the idea, then like to me, that's what the emperor is. Like if everyone holds a vision of like, hey, we want what's on the other side. Like we don't want war. We do want good trade agreements, but we don't want war. You know, we want to work
Mhm.
together, but we don't want to divide.
Yeah.
You know, like if everyone viewed that as the first thing, like the first thing that was important when making decisions and looking at like how do we run our lives as divided nations and transition it into a unity state. It's like, yes, one person could be in charge and force that, but the most powerful thing is if everyone is for the most part on board and wants a similar thing, like a
Yeah.
similar vision can create huge stuff in the world compared to one person having a single vision, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. Just however to get to that point is the problem. Getting everyone on the same page.
Yeah, that's where like compassion comes into play and like patience and like not non-attachment, like okay, like that's what I want, but I can't base my life off of that. I still have to like have my life and enjoy my life even if that
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's hard.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Shit, dude. Are
That's
you gonna unify the world then?
what I want, man. That's what I want.
You'll be the emperor inside of all of us,
I'll,
the conscious community.
I'll let it be an arrow pointing back to the south, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that's why I think, well, anyway, that's why I think unity is, it's inevitable and it's automatic when we stop doing things that like harm ourselves and each other. It's the baseline, you know what I mean? Like you can't get away from it.
The Brahman. We all came from it. We all have to return to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the Bhagavad Gita?
No, but in yoga teacher training, we definitely talked about it a lot, you know?
Oh, really?
Hmm.
So you guys actually talk about the Vedic ritual stuff, like
We didn't
yoga,
go too
karma?
deep. We didn't yeah, we didn't go too deep. We didn't spend like a ton of time, but that was included in like the 200-hour training. And then I had a whole philosophy of yoga class.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, I'd like to get deeper into it, but that'll be like a time in my life where I want to study those things and you know be in
It's
that
crazy,
state.
bro. One friend of mine from Horizon, bro, he got into heroin after like high school, but now he's like sober and he moved to like India and he's like he's a monk and he
Wow.
lives at like one of the ashram things where it's like him and a bunch of other people just like every day like there like for one guy. It's like,
Wow.
damn, he really did it, bro. Like he said he's like, I want to be a spiritual person and he like fucking went off. I've actually met another guy in from LA in rehab that did the same thing, bro. Like they find similarities with the Hindu religion and would just go off and like join a monastery there, which I think has been an option for me too. But like I've always been scared of like the scared of being the devotion to one path, bro. It's like I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's interesting. Like being scared of the devotion to one path, the way that's showed up for me, because I've experienced that for so long, is like in the moment when I'm like, oh man, like I don't know if I want to do that. Like I don't feel clear on why. But then later, like I realized like, dude, that's not like what I care about. Like like yeah, that would help me, but that hasn't been like the thing that makes me excited when I'm doing it and like
Yeah.
and nourishes me and nourishes the world. Like so I think it's valuable to like accept yourself when that happens, because it's like the universe is or yourself is probably like waiting or creating and developing like the thing that does get you going, that you can be devoted to. Like if you don't want to be devoted to something, there's not going to be any devotion. Like I don't know, that to me it's simple in that regard, but there is resistance at play as well. So it's like, is this my resistance
Living off our examples.
of the people around us?
Examples around us, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. It's like our environment makes a big difference.
And all we are is like examples for other people. That's all we leave behind. It's our legacy. I was studying the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the like first like mythological texts from ancient Mesopotamia. It's about this like king, and then he realizes like his best friend dies, and then he realizes that he too is gonna die, and like he goes through all of these trials and tribulations to like become immortal. And like at the last moment, like a snake like snatches the like vial he had, and like he almost had immortality, but a snake just takes it away from him in the last moment. And like he finally realizes that, oh, like you're not gonna, no one lives forever, not even like this great king Gilgamesh. It's like the only thing that matters is like your legacy, which is true in a way.
I like that a lot, dude. I really like how that ties into the idea of like the one person that you look up to.
Yeah, it's yourself.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the great grand Gilgamesh, and it's really just an example of like how we all, because he was a flawed king too, like he did bad things,
Mm-hmm.
but like he learned from them. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. It's cool how like we can learn from our kings and our kings can learn from the lay people, and like you were saying, the heroin addicts on the street, like, or the skaters or the alcoholics or whatever, like everyone's going through similar stuff and we can learn from each other. Like we don't have to look at that segment of the population and say there's nothing to learn from them, they're
Yeah,
lesser. It's like,
that's
no,
how a
like,
lot of people look at them. Yeah,
yeah, it's true, man. And I mean, I did that for most of my life, and then I started to realize like, dude, that homeless person like doesn't have a house. Like that's just a dude, and he's just like
yeah,
standing there because he doesn't have anywhere to go. It's like I'm so used to having somewhere to go.
yeah,
Like
same.
yeah, you know,
Always.
yeah, exactly.
It's like my friend in LA, his mom just left him, like she went to France, and he doesn't really have a dad.
Mm.
And like this fool's just like me, like the same mindset, like same like happy, like energetic, like out there. But also we have the same like destructive tendencies. And I like he doesn't have anything to fall back on. He became homeless and like he became a drug addict, bro.
Mm.
That so easily could have been me if I didn't have like all the structure, like my parents and everything else.
Mm.
So that's also like, as I was saying earlier, we're all the same too. Like it's just different circumstances, and like it definitely could be. I don't know. We're just lucky. We're really lucky to have the lives we have. That's for sure.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, you really highlighted support there. The thing that you were able to fall back on, and I've
Yeah.
experienced that a lot too. Like the support in my life, like family or like really close friends that like hold me up when I don't know how. Like
Yeah.
you know, and people on the streets, like if they had someone in their lives that could hold them up, like they wouldn't be in that spot, you know,
Yeah.
or something. I mean, I don't know their situation every time, but
Or even if they had like, because like sometimes you hear stories about like, oh, this guy like he's a barber and he does homeless people's haircuts, and like he did a video, and through that video his family was able to find him.
wow.
And like a lot of times these people, they don't have a voice like whatsoever, like because there's really good street artists, bro, that have raw like real truth in what they're doing, which
Mhm.
is something like none of these like radio stations are playing. All that shit doesn't have any truth to it. But like the real like street musician who's like pouring his life, like this is his life in every song, like it has so much more meaning, but it doesn't get any like of the like audience it deserves.
It's like, what is the society valuing?
Yeah.
Like this weird superficial stuff, like, but the dude on the street can provide a greater performance.
Sometimes like we just want to hear what's easier. We don't want to confront the big stuff because it just makes us think too much, and I don't know, it's not pleasant.
Yeah, totally. I mean, definitely like the big stuff, man. If it was pleasant, then I think everything in life would be easier. To
Yeah.
be like, oh, the stuff that like is hard, that it's going to help me grow and level up, and I don't want to hear it because it goes against what I think or whatever, like, or whatever it is, you know, then if that was easy, we wouldn't have to have this conversation.
True.
I like that. I mean, let's see. Some people say that nothing good comes easy or is easy,
Yeah,
but you know,
that's
I
true.
mean, I think there's truth to that, but
In a way, yeah.
some things that are easy are good too. I think there's both.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Hmm. And how you define easy would be important too, because like, you know, if you grow up in American culture where it's pretty divided and families aren't even like very connected, like like it's not going to be easy for that person to connect with people, as well
Mm,
as someone who grew up in a community where like when they were born, like they were passed around to all sorts of grandmothers and uncles and aunts, and they grew up with like a big community of people and everyone like worked together. Like, I don't know, maybe that's a tribal setting, or maybe it's a culture that I'm not familiar with. Like, I don't know, maybe Brazil, or maybe like maybe Italy, like, you know, maybe they have more access to that. So it'd be easier for them to like have support and have connection. Whereas if you're not used to that, um, it's not going to be as easy. So, but like if you look at it as everyone's just a human, then of course it's easy to have support and like have community, but it's
yeah.
not if you're not used to it.
Mm. Have you ever heard of the Swedish theory of love?
No.
It's like this movie about how Swedes are super independent because there's like two polar opposites. They have like these Swedes who are like live super independently, and then they have like these like tribal families like in Africa where they're like super like communicative people, but like they live. Maybe the reason that they are such a community people is because of like they need the community for the resources. Like you need the aunt that's gonna take care of the baby when you're gonna have to be working. Whereas in Sweden, I don't know if they need it as much, and like, but they still have like a really good economy, but people die alone. Like it's a really rising trend right now in Sweden that people just like the neighbors smell the dead body, and like that's how that people know they're dead because no one even talks to them. He doesn't like have any contact with anyone. It's like the smell of their dead body is what made people realize this guy's dead. And then people just come and like clean out the house, and they like try to look through all their records and like find any kind of family whatsoever. But sometimes they don't even find any family or anything, and it's like they just dispose of the body and like get rid of all of his belongings, like nothing. Like in Japan too, bro. It's like it's crazy to think about. I don't know.
That's how isolated some people are.
Yeah, but with that isolation comes like extremely good work ethic and like other good things in their eyes. Whereas like, oh, family and like all that stuff, that's just weakness, that's distraction. But they don't realize that's part of the stuff that makes you like a good human too. It's funny, it's like two polar like opposites, and I think the best thing is the balance of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of scary. You know, like, I mean, where I think work ethic can be a really good thing, but it's like work ethic geared towards what? Companies that are destroying the world, or
Yeah.
like, so I don't know, but you know, I guess that's a different conversation. Everything leads into something. Every
Yeah,
conversation can
definitely.
segue. So, Sweet, man. Thanks for the conversation, dude. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
of
it.
course, bro.
Subscribe to Conscious Community to see more videos like this. Tap the bell to get notified so you're up to date with the community. Comment below what you want to see. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. Shout out to Ian Mexas. His social media and or YouTube are linked below. We've been good friends for quite a long time, second grade or so. This is the first time we hung out. It's really cool to develop together and grow together. All right,